Well, hey Sabina, we are interviewing each other for the latest issue of the newsletter for the Just Transition Alliance or the JTA, and it's great to be able to share some virtual space with you. And to get us started, my question for you, which you'll probably toss back to me, is what's your role in the JTA and how would you describe some of your work-related activities?
So I was an intern for JTA for 6 months last year in 2024, and as of this year, I'm actually the administrative assistant. So I'm getting to dive into logistics for the team and a lot of scheduling and behind the scenes of like research for the team. So what would you say that your role is for JTA?
Yeah, well, as we're recording this, we're almost approaching the middle of May, and so I've been with the team for almost a month, and it's been really great. My role officially with the title is the Communications and Training Associate. So I'm responsible for doing social media posts. I help with editing, revising workbook materials for training of trainers, upcoming events. We are also working on hopefully what will become an emergent podcast that focuses on JTA efforts, movement organizing, and involves a lot of different people as interviewees and conversation partners. So we have all these different pieces that are interconnected with communications and being a training associate. And Sabine, I'm curious what interested you in joining the JTA team?
So throughout my college education, I always had like a calling for environmental justice specifically within this field of environmental science that I was studying. And when I was actually out of college and entering the job field, like I was looking for what organizations actually specialize in environmental justice in San Diego, and there really was not, which was very surprising to me. And of the few that there were was JTA. So I feel like it really stood out as like filling this little niche in the field that I wanted to be in. And I was just very grateful to actually have a connection with Jose Bravo, the executive director, to be able to join the team. And back at you, what interested you in joining the team?
Well, I'm so glad we both found the JTA and can be part of these crucial efforts for frontline workers and fence line communities as we work together to unite for justice. So I have many years of writing in ways that seek to advance environmental justice for the most impacted communities. In particular, in Puerto Rico and southeastern Puerto Rico, I've collaborated with communities that are the most toxically assaulted. And so that has been highly remotivating. And I've also seen the necessity of doing this work and trying to communicate these struggles and these injustices in ways that center the most impacted communities, and how can different actors, including me, how can we all use our talents, our skills, our lived experiences to try to mobilize for more livable communities. Learning about the JTA and the important work that this organization has done for decades now just really appealed to me, and some of the work that I've been doing for years as well. And it's just an honor to be able to work with such dedicated, cool, visionary people.
I totally agree. I would like to know what's an experience you've had or a story that you can share that shows why organizing for frontline workers and frontline communities matters.
Yeah, I had alluded to Puerto Rico a little bit ago, and I think colonization and talking about the imperialism and its very present effects today is really important in thinking about environmental injustices, climate injustices, and how to reimagine relationships in multiple forms. And something that I've observed just more recently with the Just Transition Alliance, which I'll highlight, is how Jose Bravo and some of our other colleagues have been involved in the campaign for healthier solutions. So pressuring dollar stores to make ethical decisions in terms of assessing the life cycle assessment of their products and making sure that those are less harmful or not at all harmful for consumers. And also, really importantly, the workers who produce those materials in the first place. And then also moving beyond just a consumerist lens, but also ensuring that people can have the tools to empower themselves and to create spaces for ensuring that, if they want to do advocacy work, that they can, and that they are connected with sufficient resources for that. So the dollar store efforts for healthier solutions has certainly been something that I think speaks to the importance of both frontline workers and fence line communities being able to try to have less toxic work environments, trying to seek justice in a variety of ways. Again, looking at the life cycle assessment of different products and toxic chemicals that are associated with them, and then also the implications for the planet and interspecies concerns as well. So I've been really impressed by the coalitional work that's been happening to call attention to these issues. And Sabina, you mentioned your studies earlier and what drew you to the JTA. What's a story or maybe something that you hold close to you that you could share that shows why organizing with and for frontline workers and fence line communities matters?
So recently with JTA, I got to go on my first work trip, which was to Occidental, and we had a general meeting with the team to like reevaluate our mission and whatnot. And I was able to meet with the board, and who are some like very well experienced movement leaders, and just hearing them discuss with each other and relive their memories of movement work, of like planning actions and protests and leading communities and like unifying these people against these social injustices. Like it was very inspiring, and it was a reminder that there are victories along the way and that we can look to from our board members. And yeah, I think just the importance of being out there with the community was really just highlighted for me.
Yeah, well, that emphasis on victories and, different successes, which can, be defined differently and look differently in different contexts, that makes me also think about what can keep us motivated in this type of work amid so many compounded crises and the labor that is involved to try to struggle for more livable communities. So what keeps you motivated in this difficult reality?
I think just being able to be in an environment of like-minded, passionate change makers, like just the team alone in JTA, like it's constantly refreshing and energizing to just keep like spirits high and to focus on those past victories, like I said. And I think there's just like this general optimism that runs through our work, that we focus on the progress, the future, like the models of success. And so that's what keeps me motivated. And what keeps you motivated?
Yeah, I think much of what you shared resonates deeply, Sabina. We do have a great team, and it's an honor to be a part of it. I often think a lot about different tensions that I think very much describe life on Earth. So, loss and love, harm and hope, isolation and interconnection, stagnation and struggle, terror and tenderness. There are so many intersectional issues that have to be addressed and done so in just ways. And so, this work, all the injustices are highly remotivating for me. And as you point out, the importance of doing this with people who share that commitment is just crucial as we try to re-energize and sustain each other and learn from each other as well. And
Mm-hmm.
this is long haul, for the long time work. So it's important to think about all of that.
And what do you hope for the future of JTA?
So I'm very new to this role still. So, what I've really appreciated is learning from those who have been involved with the JTA longer. I really do hope, as we anticipate the first climate week coming up in Panama later in May, and other climate weeks and other preparatory events in anticipation for COP30, which will be in Belém, Brazil in November. Just hoping that the just transition principles and practices can continue to be pushed forward in ways that can actually lead to real change. That's one of my hopes, that we'll see some good momentum with a just transition and what that can mean for so many different communities. And I'm kind of in a period of time where I take things one day at a time, but because those are some of our most recent efforts, those are certainly some of my hopes too. And what about you, Sabina?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that I hope that we can just continue to carve out this like niche that we have as like a catalyst for the movement and like an organizer of the organizers behind the scenes, And I know like we're not necessarily at the forefront all the time, but I think like we have like a very significant role to play, and I want to keep I don't know, making that solidified.
Sabina, thanks for having this conversation with me. We are the newest members of the JTA in terms of these new roles that we have. So thanks so much for sharing a little bit about your perspectives and experiences.
Thank you as well.